Earlier this month, a major academic study on cancel culture and political discrimination among professors and graduate students in the UK, the US, and Canada was released. This report, written by University of London professor Eric Kaufman, is the largest survey-based study to date on this topic. So in this video, I'm going to highlight what I consider to be the top 5 findings from this new report. Here we go. Number 5, 73% of university arts professors identify as leftists, whereas a mere 4% are right-wing. The other 23% presumably identify as centrist or undefined. Obviously, this is incredibly unbalanced. And by contrast, in the 1960s, there was about one conservative for every 2 leftists. This skew means that non-leftists do face political discrimination at the university. Kaufman found that in the US, more than a third of conservative academics and PhD students have been threatened with disciplinary action for their views. But because this leftist majority is generally not the group facing disciplinary action or being subject to cancel culture, they will continually deny that there is a problem with viewpoint diversity at the university at all. And they'll just act like nothing is wrong. Another implication of this heavy leftist skew is that non-leftists will self-select away from academia. So that means that students who are conservative might feel like they don't fit in with the post-secondary scene and they'll discontinue their academic career, or a right-leaning faculty member may retire early. This means the leftist skew keeps reproducing itself. Number 4, 72% of Canadian academics would feel uncomfortable going to lunch with a gender-critical feminist scholar. That is, a professor who believes that biological sex is real and that trans women shouldn't be in women's shelters. So it's not even conservatives or right-wing people who are facing alienation and political discrimination at the university. It's also people who believe that women have sex-based rights. Next, number 3 and number 2 really demonstrate the disconnect between academics and the general public. 7% of Canadian academics are Conservative Party of Canada voters, compared with 36% of the population, and 52% favor increased immigration numbers, compared to only 13% of the general public. I know I was definitely left with the impression in university that it is morally wrong to be opposed to open borders. But you know, when you have this sort of ideological bubble, your education is just not as strong. That's why you have people coming out of universities who, for example, will claim that Canada is a systemically racist, white supremacist country. And when you push them on it, they can't really articulate or explain what they mean. And it's because they're just not used to being around anyone who's going to challenge what they say. So it's really not beneficial at all to be educated in an environment where you are in an ideological bubble. And number 1, 45% of Canadian academics would not hire a Trump supporter. This is the leftist skew in action, just straight up intolerance for other viewpoints. And conservatives are well aware of this intolerance. Approximately 6 in 10 conservative academics allege that they face a hostile climate in their department because of their beliefs, and only 9% of left-wing professors say the same thing. So what happens is that faculty members who are right-leaning end up self-censoring, and that's exactly what Eric Kaufman found in his report. 70% of right-leaning American professors self-censor in teaching and research. I know you might be thinking, well, of course universities are bastions of leftism and they discriminate against those who don't have their worldview. I could have told you that. But it is important to have these figures in a formal report rather than just relying on anecdotal evidence. So now we can kind of move past the doubt of whether there really is a problem or how bad the problem really is, and we can move on to, well, what do we do about it? Leave a comment below with your suggestion on how we can restore viewpoint diversity to the university. I will leave you with a recap. 73% of university arts professors are leftists and 4% are right-wing. 72% of Canadian academics would feel uncomfortable going to lunch with a gender-critical feminist scholar. Only 7% of Canadian academics are CPC voters, and 52% are in favor of increased immigration numbers. and 45% of Canadian academics would not hire a Trump supporter. I'm Lindsay Shepherd with True North. Thanks so much for watching. If you like True North's commentary and coverage, please consider becoming a supporter. I'll see you next time.